Welcome to the Streamless podcast. Today we have Rhenvi.
Hello.
Lazy Warriors.
Hi.
And I am Cordelia Chase, and I have a new nephew as of 4:20 this morning.
Aww.
Yeah.
Oh, that's epic.
Yeah.
I want to bring that back now. It's epic.
Epic?
Yeah, 420 nephew.
Blazing.
And this week we are missing Josh. He is currently in transit between two locations, so he was unable to join us.
May he have a great vacation.
I think he's actually on his way back.
Oh!
There you go.
Yeah.
I totally misunderstood that.
We blew that. We could have said, super top secret deployment. He'll be in and out of communication, doing high profile stuff for the government. But we just were like, he's on vacation. No big deal.
We can tell you what he's doing, but we would have to kill you.
Right? Exactly.
I was just, gonna leave it at he's in transit. I wasn't gonna say what for. They could have figured out whatever he was gonna be doing on their own, but
Listen,
sure.
when we say he's in transit, we need you all to think of Jason Statham. And those movies, we can't really tell you about it. You can't really open the package, but you have to take it from one location to the next location.
Was that Transporter, wasn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah, so right now that's the role our stud Josh is doing. So
Yes.
we wish him luck. We will on his delivery. We'll see him soon once he finishes his top secret project.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. So, guys, I have a question.
Yeah. Sure.
There are things that you thought you were going to hate but actually ended up loving, like throughout life. Like, I've got a great one, which is, of course, a lot of things for me are going to be food, but like seafood as a kid, like that's fucking terrifying. Like octopus. My dad was a weird cook, which explains why I'm a weird cook. But he tried everything, and I try everything. And as an adult, I'm like, food is delicious. I don't care what you are. I want you in my stomach. But octopus is a little intimidating as a kid, let me tell you. Anything that has a weird kind of blah, and especially like seafood, like oysters, clams, octopus. And I was like, there's no fucking way I'm going to eat that shit. It looks like absolute trash. I'm going to hate it. And now I'm like, Jesus Christ, when can I get back out and have all this delicious seafood? Like, that's something that's really stuck in my mind. I'm sure probably you guys have something or a couple of things that are like this. So I gotta know. Anybody else have anything that was like really weird in their mind but ended up being wonderful?
Simon, you sounded super excited when she mentioned it, so...
But there was like throughout life, but because mine isn't throughout life, as one might have guessed if you know me, I was thinking about Raid Shadow Legends.
Jesus fucking Christ. I should have seen that one coming.
There are a few times, as a side note, everyone listening right now, where Simon will just get that like guttural instinct of like just like a reaction to like a question or a probe, and it's just like, oh, okay. We have also seen this reaction when it comes to dropping the words Alan and Wake. Yeah, that's a whole other. Yeah. You hear that little. Yeah, the man is hyped.
Speaking of Alan Wake, Control, at time of recording, Control has a DLC coming out later this month.
Oh.
I heard
We're recording
about
in August.
That.
Yeah. And it's gonna tie them all together.
Now, I kind of want to see that because you've played, or you're playing Control, and I played Alan Wake. I kind of want to. Well, you've all played Alan Wake. I was just late to the show. I kind of want to see if that's going to be any clearer because I left that game like, cool, but what the fuck just happened? So I want to know if there's like a tie up some loose ends because it still seems like maybe Control's a little questionable too. So that'll be interesting. I'll be interested. Are you gonna play that?
It's so great.
So great. So great.
I love the depth of the story. It's so layered. Come on.
Yeah, this is the reaction we were talking about, folks. Where he's just he's probably currently salivating on the floor, due to this thing.
I will not confirm or deny any accusations.
Accords, what
I
about
plead the
you?
fifth.
Well, I was gonna say, I don't think Rage Shadow Legends was Simon's actual
Oh, there's just like
answer.
a gut instinct. Okay, so
Yeah.
what's something else that you thought you were gonna end up hating, but you actually ended up loving it?
Oh, you want like a for real answer?
I
Yeah.
want any and
Um,
all for real answers. Yes.
Vegetables.
Oh,
Really?
that's a good call. Yeah, I can see it.
I loved most vegetables growing up, so like that one's weird to me.
Like
Like I
present me
still
with
won't. Oh, go on.
like present to me anything that is green or not meat, and I was like, this is not meat, sweets, or candy.
Yeah.
What is this? This is tomfoolery. Of course, I was like 3, so I didn't say that. I was more like, no!
It's icky.
The way they make like kids vegetables or like baby food, toddler food, like those little jars or cans of shit, I wouldn't want to eat it either. I remember sitting there trying to feed my nephew when he was like, little, and I was like, oh, okay, here's some cute little. I mean, the bottle or the packaging is adorable. Side note, hella missed moment in college. I should have gone into like packaging, because have you noticed over the last like 20 years how many different types of fucking bottled water there are? Never mind. It's water, people. It's fucking water. Just buy one and walk away. But like, never mind the fact that and then there's gums. There's tons of gums. There's tons of everything. You can always walk in and find at least 7 versions of what you want to find, depending on the packaging or the title or the company. And so you have these cute little adorable, stupid expensive like jars of baby food, and it's just all the same mush. It's still gonna be a shit in 8 hours. Like, it looks like poop right now, just jarred. And I'm like, this is gross. I wouldn't want to eat this either. And I was like, it can't be that bad. Took a little dip of the spoon and put it in my mouth. Oh my god, I almost ralphed. I was like,
No.
no, this is horrible. I would also not want vegetables. The way you're brought up on them as a baby, and I probably was that little porker as a kid. I was just like, nah, not for me. I mean, now I loved vegetables as long as I can remember, but we're not really brought into that situation. Really cool. We're just brought into like some bland ass mush. Like, good luck.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know about that.
Yeah. Well, like peas have been my favorite food since I was a kid. Literally,
yeah,
peas.
we share that
So,
pea love. Yeah,
it's
that sounded
just
wrong,
one of those
guys.
things. I was
Yeah, it did.
I was gonna try and move past that, but no, you had to make
Listen,
it weird.
I love that pea love. Yes.
But no, I actually, when I go sailing, I usually have pouches of like baby food with me, like the squeezable pouches that they do as like tier 2 food, because it's in case my sugar gets low on the water. Like,
I mean, that's smart. That's smart. I get it. That just sounds horrible to me, but
it's actually not terrible, but it's usually like
Really?
fruit based. It's usually
Okay.
fruit based. Now they do have like a green bean and spinach one, which actually was pretty good, but I mean, it's mostly fruit based.
Today we learned.
Yeah, right. Well, we learned that Cordi likes to pack baby food. But here's the thing:
33-year-old woman loves baby food.
caught stealing baby food
Oh Jesus, no.
during the apocalypse. It'll be like the Last of Us level like environment, and you'll be out there like snatching packs of fucking Gerber 2s like to go.
Everyone's going to be going for the canned food and the frozen food and the booze and everything. I'm going to be over in the baby food aisle just like
like that little like meme where it's a guy tapping his head like think smarter. Like, yeah, that's you. You're like, bitches.
it's got all those vitamins that you need and the sustenance. It's just already mush for you. You don't got to worry about prepping it. You don't got to cook it. You don't got to keep it cold. You just freaking open it up and eat that shit and you're good.
And that's a half-life of a century.
Pretty freaking much. I mean, to that point, I get those pods of like the applesauce mixtures, and so
Okay.
and I don't get them all the time, but I got them for my nephew who eats fucking nothing, for our road trip, and I was like, oh, kiddo, I've got some, or applesauce, some snacks, some. I don't eat that. I don't eat that. I don't eat that. Great kid. So now I'm eating like all of these, but we've had them before for like lunches. We would throw them in for applesauce or like there's like, I almost want to call it the V8 splash of apple sauces, where you can have like the fruits and vegetables, like you were saying, more of a fruit base.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, apple, carrot, apple, this, cool. Thrown in there, but yeah, I've never tried the other one, so. But we all know now, Cordi will be the one making it out of the apocalypse.
Just strapped
Jesus.
like a fucking
Right?
ammo fucking belt.
Oh my god.
Just made
Yeah.
out of baby food.
I'm riding
Jesus.
out of the city on my bike,
Yeah.
weeks after the apocalypse hits, because I'm not going to be stuck in the mishmash bullshit that everyone's trying to leave the city or whatever. Granted, I live in the country, but that's not the point. I'm
Right.
in this scenario, I'm in the city.
Right.
And it's been a few weeks. I've been surviving on my baby food. I still have like a backpack full of the shit, right? I'm riding out. There's someone on the side of the road that has like no energy because they weren't able to procure food. I just throw like 3 packets at them and say, have fun. And I keep on rolling. I don't even got to stop.
Dude, in my mind, I'm thinking, at the same time, while I'm thinking, you're like riding out on like a sick ass like Harley, and you're like, hey, bitch, and you like chuck some packets, and you're like, take care, like a little, aviator's nod, and then drives off. But in my mind, because we're talking about like baby food and like riding out, you're on like a big tire, or like, and you're rolling out with like it's like a tricycle. What do they call them?
Big wheels.
Big
Just
wheels.
Big wheels.
You're a big wheel. Yeah, you're on a big wheel rolling out, and you like look over like Rugrats style with the fucking Tommy Pickles sunglasses, and you're like, pachoo pachoo, and then you just scoot off on your big wheel. Like,
She's drifting up to the camera, lifting up the shades, like,
Yeah.
drives away.
See, you weren't too far off, though, because I wasn't picturing myself on a motorcycle. I was totally on a bicycle.
Oh, okay.
A
So
bike.
you were like low profile. Got it. Okay. I was
Yeah, like nobody's gonna fucking hear me coming aside from me breathing heavy, like, because I'm so out of shape.
Oh, I fully imagined you having like fucking baseball cards taped to it, so it sounds cool.
Oh, that's awesome. Yes. Oh my god. If anyone loves us enough, someone commission that. Just feel free to like send us in some fan art of Cordy riding out of the apocalypse.
On her fucking big wheels,
Just a
sipping off a pint of baby
Like,
food.
and here's the thing, just see it, like, you'll have crushed one and you'll finish it, and rather than being like yeet with like a beer bottle, you're just like chucking this like crumpled carcass of a baby food container to the side, and it's like rolls in the wind, and it's like
Which, speaking of that commission, if anyone actually does want to draw that for us and send it to us, you can find us at streamlesspod@gmail.com. Streamlesspod.
Please
Oh yeah, we have an email.
Send it.
Yes, we do.
Oh yeah, we have an email. That's right, we do, folks. And if you have ideas or you have questions for us to talk about in future episodes, please email us at where again?
Streamlesspod@gmail.com.
Look at that, like the Vanna White. I
That
love
was
it.
the most official shit sounding I've ever
Listen,
heard.
we can be adults sometimes.
That was
right?
wild.
Now the problem is, you said topics to talk about. However, we all know that we're going to start talking about that topic, but it ain't going to stay there.
Yeah, we took a hard left turn from where we started a minute ago. But no, I think it's great because we talked about various things, and then we have this little fun circle, and we come back out. But no, speaking of that, so to circle back to the list of topics we were talking about,
Yeah.
so things you thought you were gonna hate but ended up loving. Is there anything that you thought you were gonna hate, ended up loving, and then hated again? Or-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
That's actually where I was going to be going.
Badoosh,
And
let's go.
for me,
Tell us. Yeah.
this mostly pertains to mobile games. So you know how, you're on whatever app and there's those ads that pop up and you're like, oh, that looks really fucking stupid. I would not enjoy it. But then eventually it wears you down. You're like, fine, I'll just download it. Not from the ad. You always go straight to the app store because you're like, I'm not clicking on this ad. Fuck that.
There's 16 different viruses in this ad.
There are two
Yeah.
schools of thought on that, but yes, go ahead.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so I download it, and I'm like, oh shit, I love this. And then I play it so much until I burn out, and then I hate it again. A couple of examples of this: merge dragons. That's like basically you can merge like at least 3 things of the same, and it makes like the next tier thing. And of course, there's dragons involved, and there's some strategy, and then this, that, and the other thing. Yeah, I burned myself out on that in like 2 months. There's a mobile game that I actually played for a couple of years.
Oh wow, that's commitment.
Yeah, I know, and I at this point, I'm actually really regretting it.
Oh no.
It's The Walking Dead Road to Survival.
Do you know what's so funny? Eerily funny. No joke.
What?
Anybody listening to this or y'all right now? I literally was like, I wonder if she's gonna say The Walking Dead, because that is one of the number one things that I've heard about that game. Because I considered picking it up back in the day, and then people were kind of like burnt out, like PTSD'd after it, and I was like,
yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, no. So I don't even remember seeing many ads for it or whatever. I just remember, okay, I downloaded it. I was bored at McDonald's on my break, and I downloaded it and started playing it. Because this was back when I was still working at McDonald's.
Yeah.
And I got fucking hooked. And, it's all about collecting all of these different characters and leveling them up. You join factions. The factions have wars with each other that last for like a weekend. I had the same profile, but I had 2 different regions that I played in.
Yeah.
I was the faction leader in one, and a co-faction leader in the other. And
is this the one that like Trey is sickly obsessed with too?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like,
guess whose fault that is?
Oh, were you the person?
Yeah.
Oh no, you infected others. Oh, that's the worst. I'm so guilty of that. You're fine. I'm proud of you.
I went to one of their. I went to one of Trey and Allison's. What was it? St. Patty's Day
party.
Their party for the weekend, and I stayed the night, as I do, because they live hella far from where I live.
Right.
And I wake up the next morning. Allison had to go to a wedding shower, a baby shower, something. So it was just me and Trey, and we're like sitting on the couch watching shit together. And I'm on my phone. He's like, "What you playing?" And I tell him. And he's like, "Oh, I might think about downloading that." Fast forward to 2 weeks later.
Hits free.
2 weeks later, he finally downloads it, and he's like, "So how do I join your faction?" And I'm like, "Well, which region are you in?" And he's like, "This one." I'm like, "Okay, well, first off, you have to switch regions." He's like, "Fuck." So he joins my faction and everything. I get him into the faction in my other region as well.
Yeah.
And for like 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years, I'm just playing. And then I just hit that point the year I got married where it was like, boom. Like,
I'm done.
I'm done. I hit the wall because I had so much going on in real life. I made Trey the faction leader of the one region because I'm like, eh. And I have not touched it since. Like, I deleted it off my phone and everything. I like sent a message to, the entire faction. I was like, "Look, guys, I'm leaving you in good hands. I'm sorry. If you want to find me, here's my Twitch. You can find me there because I'll still be streaming." And this is actually how I became friends with Meerkat.
Oh, yeah. I knew you met through a game.
Yeah, so
oh, no
Commander
way. You
Meerkat.
Met that beautiful, lovely soul through this game. Oh my god. Sorry, but people don't know Meerkat, but then we love Meerkat.
Meerkat is precious.
He is a beautiful, wonderful being of a human being. And he's got an amazing voice. And
he's so sweet.
He is. Like, I've invited him up for Christmas. It's a standing offer because I don't exactly expect him to come up for Christmas this year because COVID. But,
I hope he does,
in
though,
the future.
because I will be there in a second.
Oh, I know you will.
Screech, pulling around the corner like, "What's up, bitches?"
If he does show up, I do demand pictures.
I mean, with his permission.
Right.
Because, like, if he's willing to take pictures with me, I'm not going to be like, okay, I'm sharing these with everybody. No, I would
very
respect
private.
his. I would respect his privacy if he's like, well, you can keep them, but you can't post them. Like, okay, cool. I'd be okay with that.
I feel like we need to get him like a marshmallow head, like just a
dead mouse or something.
Mouse. Yeah. Like, that is like the modern day witness protection program. Like
a full on meerkat head.
Yeah. Or the Daft Punk dudes.
Ooh,
they've been doing it longest, I think.
Techno meerkat.
Techno
meerkat. Be amazing.
Oh my god, yes, we're gonna call him Please, next time he's live, just go in there and be like, Techno Meerkat. Just don't tell him why. Techno Meerkat, Techno Meerkat, Techno Meerkat, Techno Meerkat. Yeah, there you go,
we need to commission some animated emotes to put on Better Twitch TV so that we can use them in his chat.
That would be beautiful. Yes.
Just like a Daft Punk meerkat. Hello?
Yeah, but like the ears stick out. It'll be beautiful. I'd love that. Oh yeah.
But awesome. Yeah, those are the two main mobile games that kind of stick up for me.
Oh yeah, we were talking about that.
I do have to back you up on that because I feel like and also apparently I'm the terrorist who taps the ads to then go to the store and then download the game. So it's me. I'm the reason why TikTok's getting banned, people. It's all me.
For shame.
Right? Because I'm like,
shame,
ooh, shiny.
Shame.
What's this? Ooh, shiny. What's that? Tap. It's a good thing my phone hasn't gotten like a virus that I'm aware of yet. But no, I will find things because like a lot of mobile games will, especially now, it didn't used to be as many. I feel like everything in general, whether it's media, games, whatever else, used to have very limited advertisements.
Yeah.
And then like you're like, okay, 1, and then when it got to T2, you're like, okay, a little annoying, but we'll deal with 2. Remember the days of 2? Blah, let's all laugh together. Right? Oh, we were not prepared for the bullshit that was about to pop up and fuck us in the face. Anyway, so...
Speaking about fucking Raid Shadow.
but like, I would find these games and I was on a moment of like, earn extra points or extra cash or whatever else in-game currency or special unlocks if you watch this ad. And I get to the point where I'd watch an ad and watch an ad and watch an ad. And now they've gotten so creepy that like you could actually miniature play like an interactive ad for like, and I'm like, first of all, fucking bravo. Wonderful marketing. I love you guys. You've definitely sucked me in. But also, fuck you, man, because you sucked me in. and so I'll get this, and I'll try it, and then I'll download them. And I have, Cordi, Simon, I have so many bullshit mini games on my phone right now. I can't with you. I played them all, and I'll play them for about maybe like 3 weeks total, and then I'll forget about them. And my phone has this thing called offload, where to like save space if I haven't touched something in like 15 days, it'll offload the app, but I can re-download it. It'll save everything that I've done, but it'll offload to free up space. Do you know how many of those things are offloaded? Because I haven't touched them. It's sick. And then I'll find one game I really, really, really like. And this is where the whole like and then hate, or I thought I was going to hate it, like it, and then love it. Or wow, words. Let me back that truck up. Jesus Christ. One more time from the top. In terms of like things I thought I was gonna hate but ended up loving but then ended up hating again was, so getting an app, and I was like, all right, you've force fed me this advertisement for so long, I'll finally get you. So I'm probably gonna hate you, but I'll give in. Play the game, realize I absolutely fucking love it, and then what happens is my husband will download it. And
then you just feed off each other.
Good for him, but the bitch is good at games, and I'm pissed. So like, I'll get stuck on like turn-based, like little mini games. Guys, that's his ish. Everything in his Steam library is like turn-based or strategy or whatever else. So like, I'll sit there and play until like the momentum or the spark is gone, right? And I'll come back and he's on level 507, and I'm like, what the fuck did you do? And
Oh
why
my
did you take the
god.
one thing that was precious to me and beat me in it? It's not really precious to me, but the principle remains. I didn't want him to get better than me in this fucking game. So that's that little bell curve goes back down again to like hate, like hate, love, hate. And it's like that with a couple of games. And so now if I'm ever playing anything, and he comes in the room, it's like you would have thought I was cheating on him. I fucking close up my phone, lock it, put it in the drawer, like what's happening? Fucking nothing. You aren't gonna find out about this goddamn game though. Cause bitch, like I will be the reigning champion of this game in this house. But yeah, that's usually what happens. Is that's when I start to hate something again. That's where my bell curve happens. It becomes competition, and then in an effort not to kill him and bury him in the backyard, I just I try to just move on to another game. But I hear you about the whole mini games. But yeah, that's definitely my piece for that.
Now, you were talking about the interactive ads. Have you ever come across one where you're actually like quote unquote playing the game in the ad and you click on it, you download it, and that's definitely not the game you were playing in the ad?
Yes. And
Okay.
to that
That's
point,
happened to me too.
I feel like people, and I feel like that happens every day in like real life games. Like how many we all watched, I think at some point repeats or the full thing of the Game Awards. At least
Mm-hmm.
last year, and if not like, pretty much the years previous to that. Or any actual good advertisement for a game, whether it's mobile or not. Fuck you people. That's the biggest catfish of my life. I mean, your marketing team is great, but do not show me something that I'm not actually getting. Like, I will be so much more thrilled if you give me a gameplay trailer than some hyped up shit, and I'm like, oh, yeah. And I get it, and it's just not like Outer Wilds. I wanted to play that. That song hyped me up. The previews hyped
Mm-hmm.
me up. The actual gameplay, I was like, no.
Outer Wilds or Outer
No.
Worlds?
World, sorry.
Okay, I was gonna say Outer Wilds didn't really
Yo.
have a big ol' fucking.
No.
Yo, how do you not enjoy the gameplay of Outer Worlds?
No, I can't because I'm not. If you look at the games I play,
She doesn't play like Bethesda type games
I don't,
ever.
yeah, I'm not a text-based picker, like constantly having conversation. I have ADHD, Simon. I can't focus that long. No. I need to be able to move around, melee, and hit shit. And if I can't do that, I get kind of into this whole little, like, if I can't continue an action or actions, I throw the game away. I can't do it. But seeing ones that look like really, really, really cool and they end up being big freaking catfishes are the worst. You're like, this is not what I signed up for. Excuse?
I was like back in the Wild West days of where companies could just make whatever they wanted. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh yeah, this is totally the game, guys.
Yeah. And then you get it, and then you're like, oh. And like even certain games like now, like I can't even they're League of Legends type games, not
Eh.
necessarily mean they're League of Legends, but they're that
MOBAs,
that type of like yeah, where whatever it is where it's like that top down uh, semi
PvP.
yeah, but like shitty graphics. You know what I mean? Like it's not like a sorry. It's not like a triple A type thing. You know what I mean? It's not like a not triple A, but it's not a how would you describe the people that I usually play chords? Like they're like Uncharted, Tomb Raiders. Like they're
The
definitely more
adventurous. More
adventurous,
adventurous.
Third person.
but they're more developed graphically. Graphically, it's more intense, is what I'm trying
Okay.
to say.
Oh, so like we're talking like more realistic graphics as opposed to say like
More
Fortnite.
Katsuni.
Yeah. Can't do cartoony. But those always have those super real high intensity graphics like teasers. And
Mm-hmm.
then you
That's
get to them
true.
and you're like, yeah. I'm like, oh, I might want it. And I, being a wise fellow, once or twice burned, will YouTube gameplay of these games. And I'm
Yes.
like, you motherfuckers, what a catfish.
That's
And,
Now,
the
like,
fucking
not that it's
beauty of
wrong.
today.
And like, go ahead, cool. I mean, they have followings for sure, and they always will. Not my cup of tea. But don't advertise it like that. Show actual gameplay. Like I want to know what I'm buying. Otherwise, I'm gonna get that refund button real quick. You know,
see,
like no.
there's I've got two instances of that. One that turned out crap and the other that turned out like really fucking good.
Oh yeah.
Um I'll go with the crappy one first. The first one was Watch Dogs. Now,
Okay.
I own it. I've never actually played it because if you know how many games I have in my library, you understand why I haven't played everything. But when they first started advertising Watch Dogs, they were touting it as this game where you would never need to touch a firearm because you would be hacking your way through everything. You'd be able to bypass everything with hacking or doing, cyber stuff to get through the entire game. There was no gunplay whatsoever touted for this game. And like right before launch, because at the time I got Game Informer because I had my GameStop power-up rewards bullshit stuff. Yeah. And they did like their review and they said, yeah, and the gunplay, this, that, it's really satisfying and this, that. I'm like, that's not the game. That is not the game that they were touting. They were like, Catfish. You can do all of this. Yeah, no. But the good one, was the original Assassin's Creed. Okay. So, because in all of their marketing materials, unless you like looked super deep, which let's be honest, I didn't because the internet, well, not in its infancy, was more in its toddler years. So, it wasn't as easy to find so much stuff.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah. Around the time of the first Assassin's Creed, yeah.
Yeah, so like YouTube wasn't a huge thing and all this other stuff. So basically all you had to go on was what you read in Game Informer or like saw on MySpace. Okay. Okay? Maybe Facebook, but Facebook at that point I think might have still been for college students only. And so all I was seeing was like, this is a simulator. You're living in those olden days, back in the,
Crusade times.
The Crusade times. So you've got the Templars in their like traditional like mail armor and everything. And so you're going to be playing as this dude named Altair. You're an assassin. You're just going to, go on these missions to kill people and everything. And so I pre-order because I'm like, I like all that time period stuff. That's fucking awesome.
Dude, and the trailer was amazing.
Yeah, the trailer was amazing, and it all took place in Altair's time. Now, spoiler alert, in case you haven't played it or don't know, that's not all Assassin's Creed is about. Assassin's Creed, like, I pop in the game, I'm playing, I'm this badass because, most games do that thing where you're super overpowered and then they take away your powers because you get injured or something and you have to relearn everything. But they kind of give you that taste at the beginning of how awesome you are, how awesome you can be. And you play through that, you get to a certain part and all of a sudden it starts like glitching out. And I'm like, what's wrong with my game? Hello? Help? And then it's like, oh no, this is planned. This is a fucking thing. And seriously, you wake up in the Animus in present day, finding out that all this was a simulation put on by your genetic memories, and my mind was fucking blown. I'm like, I need this series. This series, well, at the time it wasn't a series, but by the time you get to the end of the game, there's at least going to be a second game. Yeah. And it was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever. So in that case, it worked out that I didn't see everywhere that, oh no, you're just in a simulation when you're actually playing the assassin. Otherwise, you're this dude named Desmond who doesn't have any assassin-like powers at all. No, I didn't see any of that, and it was amazing. So, like, that's an example of them not completely, telling you the things.
But I feel like that's another level, right? So there's things where like it'll advertise it and then you get into it and then you're like, oh my God. And I feel like that also is a thing of today where you used to have some ambiguity, as to like what you might get into. Like you had a general premise, right? They set the stage for the game. But then, or the movie or the show or whatever it is, right? Give you a few poised spoiler bits. I don't even want to say they were actual spoilers in the previews for the trailer. Mm-hmm. But the rest of it, you literally had to be there to like see it, watch it, whatever else. Now, I feel like when they're realistic, they just give away everything, and you're like, well, what's the fucking point? I've just seen the beginning, middle, and end of this. I don't want to buy this, or I don't want to see this. Unless there's something hidden, I'm not sure I want to see it or buy it anymore. But things like that, where it's like, and that was that day and age where they were still kind of like, we'll give you a little couple breadcrumbs, but the rest of it, you got to see. And you know what? When you did see it, you loved it. And you were like, this was well made. This was a good secret. Good thing I didn't work for them. I'd have leaked the shit out of this. You know, like there's a, because I would get too hyped about something like that, where it's like all of a sudden it just broke. And by the way, when you said that, your mind was blown. And the way you relayed that, I just imagine you just be like, ah. And then like a cigarette, tap tap, and you're like, was it good for you? It's good for me. So, but I feel like they left that piece of mystery and kept that little bit of an enigma right to it, but it was so worth the payout. So conversely, there's two, right? And then you have somewhere you're given that, like, it's such a well done, like nowadays, especially for those League of Legend type games, where it's so well done in terms of the previews or the everything else, and you get to the gameplay and it's like, excuse me, no, I signed up for this. Why do I have this? Like, there's a huge disconnect between the two. A lot.
I felt that hard when I bought Brink.
Oh,
anyone else know that game?
I never played
but I'm always tardy to the party. So what's Brink about?
It's a first-person shooter. The whole advertisement campaign and shit is like, you can make your own character.
Yeah.
For the story, and you have several body types. Someone's going to be more agile. Someone's going to have more health. And you can play this, and there's like seamless fucking multiplayer, and it's gonna be great fucking amazing story. You're trying to save the Ark, a big city floating on the water. The multiplayer is the single player. Because single player is just the multiplayer, but with bots.
Oh. Okay. I knew it was shit, but like, and
like,
I know it was a big old letdown.
Fucking shit. I pre-ordered. That was the last game I pre-ordered.
Listen, everyone's been burned on that shit. There was one day, it was almost like the running joke where everyone's like, oh, mind-blowing facts. You didn't even know. And it's like, number one, there was a time that you were picked up and you never remember what it was. It was like, and you don't know, and your parents don't know, but you were never picked up again after that. And it's like, oh my God, that happened. But no, it's like this, where you're like, yeah, there was that one time, where you're like, you picked up a pre-order and you got burned, and you were like, never again. I was like, that shit hurts. That hurts to your core when you pre-ordered something and it ends up just being trash. You're like, I spent time and money and more time and it's a pre-order, and then getting it home, getting it installed, blah, 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 putting it up, getting it through, and you're like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you feel so ripped off, and you're like, back then at least the return process was a bitch. So you're just like, oh, okay. Yeah. Deep breaths.
Sitting there like, I trusted you, and you do me like this.
Yeah. What was that? Well, obviously for Simon, it was Brink. For me, it was Fallout 76.
See, and I waited on that specifically because I wasn't sure. People have been rumoring that wasn't a great game.
It's got
but it was
better.
Hyped. It was hyped, so hyped. But also, though, to that point, wasn't Fallout going through some shit, or the creators going through some shit, like in between the previous Fallout and this Fallout design team and everything else? I'd heard something about that, but like, I could be 100% full of shit.
I don't know, but like the reason I had pre-ordered it, because I rarely pre-order things anymore, to be honest.
Yeah.
And that was like the last thing that I ever pre-ordered, which was 2 years ago now ish or something. I don't know, year and a half. Was I knew that Elder Scrolls Online, like they had that shit down at that point. Like ESO's still doing pretty darn well. So
true.
when I pre-ordered, I'm like, okay, so this is going to be like the Fallout version of ESO, because I'm a little more invested in the Fallout universe than I am in the Elder Scrolls universe. I love both dearly, but I'm more invested in Fallout.
Sure.
And so I figured, they've got ESO figured out. Sure, let's do this Fallout 76 thing. And, well, yeah, I played for like a week.
Yeah.
Right at launch. So, I mean, they've added things. There's DLC that I had the season pass for, so I've got it. It's just, I haven't gone back to it. Because there's the diehard people who have been playing this entire time that they literally are just so super high level, and they're like throwing nukes left and right because they know how to get, you know, the nukes off the ground and everything and get all the good loot and this, that, the other thing. So I'm going to just like be joining back as a little level 5 newbie, like, hi, how are you guys?
You're like, hi,
and then they shoot
friends?
me in the face.
Right.
So, you know, it's one of those, that's one of the reasons I kind of enjoy Sea of Thieves, though, because there's no leveling system. Everyone's technically on level ground. With stats. I mean, yes, you can have more skills, like you can be better at maneuvering yourself and know when to use what attacks, but everyone does the same damage. Everyone has the same health, you know. That's one of the things I enjoy about that game, but we're going to leave that because I know Rhenvi is not a fan.
No. I was you're fine. Listen, that's what I was telling Josh before, and he was like, well, like we're talking about favorite games back in like the episode 1 or something, and it was like, well, mine's kind of popular, like, don't hate that. Listen, Sea of Thieves has a huge audience. I'm just not in it, and that's okay.
Yeah, like I played Sea of Thieves for a good long while. I just lost interest, but I got what I wanted because I think I pre-ordered it like the day before it came out.
Yeah.
And I do that on principle so they can't show that in their pre-order statistics.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But that's I got it,
like
and the
big brain like thought.
I was like, I know, like it's cartoony, it's pirates, it's on the water. It might be not the fastest game in the world, but the commercial said that you could play on a hurdy-gurdy. Fuck yeah! Take my 70 fucking euro.
I love the hurdy-gurdy. Like that. That's the first time I'd ever heard of one, to be honest, and I kind of want to learn how to play one in real life.
Dude, that would be fucking amazing.
That's awesome.
But I'm also the person that if I ever go back to musical instruments, I want to learn how to play the bagpipes. Like,
stop it. So let's add to her. Let's for a moment. Let's transcend back to earlier in this conversation. Riding out of the apocalypse, bicycle with the little cards, finish chucking a pot of baby food, and then
starts playing "Oh Danny Boy."
Right. Just like rides out, and we're like, "That's fucking dope." And like, the person's recovering from being hit in the head with a food packet. Like, the fuck was that? Oh, that's beautiful. Yes.
Oh my god, that image is just
it's just growing, it's evolving. You're gonna be this like epic, like, what was that Will Smith apocalyptic movie? It's gonna be like that. You're gonna like end like with a Fallout tendency. You're gonna have dog meat at some point in this.
I Am Legend, which
I Am Legend, yes. Yeah.
I'm gonna be that person. The book was better.
But listen, the book's usually better.
Because I mean, they've made a graphic novel out. I think it was originally a novel, and then they adapted it for a graphic novel, and then they made the movie, and then they changed the movie's ending. Yeah. The story's ending for the movie, and it pissed me off because it just, the way it ended in the books was so, it made you think a lot more.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, ultimately they changed pretty much the whole story, because the Will Smith's character is not a doctor at all in the books. He's not trying to find a cure for this. He's just one of the few survivors left. He knows there's others, but he can't really, there's no way to communicate.
Yeah.
And basically, it's just like, figuring out. Do you guys want me to spoil this for you? This is a spoiler warning
I've
for.
seen it,
sure. I'm
so
good.
good.
Yeah, so like the movie, does he actually find the cure and then send it off with the other people, or does he just save them and sacrifice himself? I forget.
I think he sacrifices himself.
Okay. Well, regardless of if he found a cure or not, in the books, at the end you find out he's pretty much just a legend among all the vampires, because most of the vampire people still have cognitive abilities. They're still able to talk. They're still able to function as if they were human, aside from the whole not being able to be out during the day type thing.
Oh, yeah, it was more like a zombie apocalypse type of thing in the situation.
Kind of. And, he for a while thought that they were all just monsters, and some of them are, but then there's, the ones that still have their cognitive functions. They can still, react as a person would. And basically, he's basically the last human, and he's a legend. Like, we're talking dragon type legend. He's that fabled mythical creature.
Yeah.
And that's where the I am legend is from, is like, oh, I have become this mythical creature.
Keep in mind, though, this came out in, like, the season of Will Smith. Because he was in, like, back-to-back movies, like Pursuit of Happiness, iRobot, all that stuff was, like, it was, like, remember when Denzel Washington was, like, the shit during, like, the late, like, 90s, early 2000s? He was in fucking everything. Yeah. And then it was, like, the era of Will Smith, and he was in, like, 8,000 movies. And then there was like
shout out movies, and they all became big successes.
like he almost like Nick Cage it in terms of shitting out movies. Like so, like for sure, like there was like eras of just like boop, 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 like okay, you've got your stuff, we get it, you're good. So I'm not surprised because that's something like again 7 Pounds, Pursuit of Happiness, I wrote all that shit just came out back to back to back to back to back. So it was like okay, we get it, we're inundated with Will Smith right now. We got it. We're good, folks. We're good.
I'm looking for a picture right now because I was actually at the Detroit premiere for Pursuit of Happiness.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, that's awesome. And Will Smith actually was there.
That's dope.
Oh.
Now, here we go. It's super old photo. Like, crappy.
That's dope, though.
Yeah, crappy phone, not a smartphone. It was taken with my phone. We got to sing the Fresh Prince theme with the dude.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
Yes. Like, I mean, it was everybody who was there, but still, like, the epicness of all that was just amazing.
Well, folks, that's been a podcast. Cordi wins this one. Mic drop. Anyway.
I feel like I have nothing more to add. I cannot add anything. Right? I can't win.
Right. Listen, whatever. No, that's dope as hell. The only time I ever got like remotely close to like a celebrity was do you remember when TRL was a thing?
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew what that was. So it's called TRL was Total Request Live. And it was on MTV where they would show literally 0.36 seconds of a music video. The top 10.
And then they'd play like the entire number one, but
the entire number one, but like they're like like it was basically like Total Request Live, but the most requested songs, like the top charts essentially of songs would play, and it was like a 20-minute show on MTV with Carson Daly. Carson. Anyway, and so there was I was actually on an honors trip in high school. And we were in New York City, and we had some free time in between, everything else we were doing. And so we were allowed to kind of roam around Times Square, where I learned, number one, you cannot jaywalk there like you can jaywalk in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Look it up, folks. Kids jaywalk everywhere in Ann Arbor. You're welcome. You will not get run over. So New Yorkers, you're welcome here. But that they will definitely smush your ass in New York.
Mm-hmm.
But my fast friend that I met on this trip, right, we were all together, and it was a bunch of different schools internationally that had come together. So this was a girl from
cool.
So my friend, it was Romy, and I'm still friends with a good such section of them. Sorry, my Alexa was doing some shit. Can you not today? Thank you. We decided that Romy was from South Africa, but she had seen that there was something happening at TRL today, and I was like, oh my god, I'd only ever seen that like online or not online, but on TV. And
Yeah.
we actually got into that little outside area, the
Oh,
little
like outside the
downstairs.
window? Or
Yeah, like
yeah.
downstairs outside the window, they had like a little patio, a roped off patio area where you would have people like go, oh, and down our little patio, there's so and so, and it would be stuffed full of people, like coronavirus be damned, because we would have died. But like, honestly, got stuffed. And this was right before the, I'll say first asterisk, Spider-Man came out, and it was with
Oh, the Tobey Maguire one?
Tristan Dunst and Tony Maguire, and
Okay.
they came down to that little patio area. I mean, I was definitely like 3 like full like body presses away from them, but it was super cool because you're like, oh my god, everyone like fans out to like this like super small pocket of space, and because you're not allowed to like touch them or get close to them, but it was like, ah. Hi. I just would be like, that is the coolest thing ever. But that's how I got that close once ever. And Tobey Maguire, what is he doing nowadays? Fucking nothing. So whereas I feel like Will Smith's still doing stuff. I mean,
It may not
definitely
be great, but he's still doing stuff.
he's at least working through some tangles.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Anyways.
you had mentioned like he kind of had that Nicolas Cage effect going on, and the
He
thing is,
did.
like, Nicolas Cage has made himself into his own brand.
Oh yeah.
Dude,
Oh yeah.
Nick Cage is the ultimate meme when it comes to actors.
Yeah, because it's like, you go into a Nick Cage movie pretty much knowing what to expect.
Yeah.
Like, you're like,
Yeah.
Nick Cage is pretty much just gonna be himself. That's like,
Yep.
he's just putting on this mask of another person only to peek through, like, hey, don't forget, this is actually me. Like, but it's
Nick Cage
it's
does not
brilliant.
play a role. He's just himself.
He is though, like he never has any sort of change in inflection, or you could see him in Ghost Rider and you could see him in National Treasure. Same
Oh yeah, yeah,
fucking
yeah.
dude. It's the same fucking dude. Like there's no effort to be a different person, a different style, a different voice, it's the same fucking person. Just CGI versus non-CGI. Like what?
Well, I
He
mean, but
really is just playing
if you
himself.
actually like look back at his older movies, though, you can see that he's actually a pretty damn decent actor. He just got given a couple shit jobs, or took a couple shit jobs, and then people like were like, "This is amazing," and he's just been playing and leaning into that ever since.
Oh yeah.
Well,
so
because
yeah, I mean, like, because back
he's
in the
still
day, like,
working.
oh yeah,
He's
like,
getting that paycheck.
dude, remember like Fast and or not Fast, I was like Gone in 60 Seconds. Do you remember Face Off? Face
Yep.
Off was dope.
Oh, that was
Oh
so
my
insane.
god, that was
Oh.
so great. And that was
Con
right around
Air,
but listen, yes.
The Rock.
And that was around the time that like also I feel like him and John Travolta were like midlifing. I don't know, like quarter lifing.
Yeah.
So they were having their back-to-back movies or hits. And all the while, you know who we didn't mention throughout all of this? You know who pumped out a bunch of fucking films back to back to back to back to back? Fucking Steven Seagal. Can we talk about that motherfucker for a second? Throughout all of this background of like Nick Cage, Will Smith, Denzel Washington, there was Steven Seagal pumping out another movie.
I've never actually seen one of his movies all
Shut
the way
up!
through.
Oh my
all
god,
the
my
way
dad was sickly obsessed with them. We watched them all the time.
through. I always had to
Oh.
turn him off. I just couldn't deal with his poor acting.
Dude, they were absolute trash, but you watch them to be like, oh,
Yeah.
I beat your ass. Like, you would watch them just for that. It was almost like back in the day when Clint Eastwood let out like we were not born yet, any of us. But like when Clint Eastwood would just pump out those like spaghetti westerns over and over and over and over and over, and you're like, Clint, enough, my dude.
Well, no, I actually like mentioned that to my husband. He's like, yeah, there's actually not as many Clint Eastwood westerns as you would think. We actually literally talked about that yesterday.
Maybe I just watched them a lot as a kid because that was the other thing my dad liked for some weird reason. So I was used to that, but I was just like, God, okay, there's a lot, Clint. That's a lot. Take a break. No, I really think that the Steven Seagal ones were intense. They were obviously the different eras, different people, but like some of them just keep on kicking. Like I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like I know Will Smith will have more movies. He's had some recently, I think, and like I'm pretty sure Steven's. Well, he might have been retired now, but he's a cop now, which is wild.
What?
Oh yeah,
Seriously?
Steven Seagal's a cop for sure. And or he was at least.
He did have a show where he
had a show,
where he would be like,
Oh shit, I didn't even know that.
Legit, yeah. But also kind of
he is a strange creature.
he is. But I'm also kind of curious as to like what's Nick Cage gonna do now? Like, what's next for Nick Cage? Is there anything? Because I know he's poor as shit. He's got to make some sort of fucking money. But like,
Well, I mean, he recently had a movie come out called The Color of Space, and it's actually like a horror movie, a sci-fi horror movie, and it's not terrible. I mean, yeah, he's still playing himself pretty much, but
Nick Cage in space.
listen, right? And like, I love how the meter for like most people is like, okay, good, bad, mediocre, bleh, and it's like it's not terrible. Is where you start off for Nick Cage, and it's so fucking true though. You're like, oh,
well, it doesn't take place in space. It's actually on terra firma. It's on Earth, but.
Okay.
But it's still, like, he's the dad. They've got, he's got a wife, 2 kids, and just this meteor comes crash into Earth and some shit goes down. That's where I'm going to leave it, because
there you go.
I do think it's worth a watch.
All right.
I really do. Especially if you're into horror type movies.
I mean, kinda. I haven't at some point, next topic, we should talk about horror flicks at some point. I haven't.
Oh yes.
I haven't been truly scared since The Descent, and it's a British horror film, and it came out like almost 15 years ago, maybe. I have not been fully scared since then.
I've not seen it.
Listen,
I haven't either, but there's actually 2 endings. There's 2 different endings to that, right?
I did not, but I will look that back up.
Yeah, the US release ending differed from the UK release ending.
Oh, dope.
They changed it because the US audience reacted violently different to what the British ending was, and they were like, we gotta change this.
Okay, well now I have my weekend plan. Thank you. I'm gonna go check that shit out. But no,
literally,
like,
that's the only difference is the end. So you don't have, unless you want to watch it again, you don't have to.
Oh, I might, because I don't think my husband's seen it, so I get to subject him to that. But no, it's probably the last time I was ever scared. But we will continue that thought another time. If I needed to find you, or reach you, tell you that I loved you, or contact you about that sick ass end of days commission for Cordi, where can I find you, Cordi?
You can find me on Twitter at Cordelia Chase, Cordilia Chase, and Twitch with the same name. And Simon?
Yes, I am never prepared for this.
And it's coming.
You know it's coming,
yes.
Right?
Yes. It's like the jump scare of every horror movie. Yes, I have the Twitch.
I have the Twitch.
Where I am known as Lazy Warriors, and on Twitter as Warriors Lazy.
There you go.
Simple.
I post dumb shit.
That he does, but it's okay. We still love him.
Right.
And you, Rhenvi?
Looking for me? Oh my god. I'm on Twitter at Renegade G, and that's RHENE, because I am yet again still special. And for everybody else listening, as you heard us say earlier, we have an email address,
which happens to be streamlesspod@gmail.com.
So, send us any love, no hate, please, okay? Any questions you might have, and anyone who's commissioning Cordi's awesome apocalyptic badass picture. Or if you wanted to send her bagpipes. Your choice.
I'm not sure those will transmit well through the internet, but you know.
Oh, listen.
We have the technology.
We have the technology. Okay.
We can't really have a P.O. box, though.
Okay. Hey,
because we're all over the world.
Hey. If bagpipes show up, bagpipes show up. You've been told, ladies and gentlemen. Until next time, we will see you then. Bye.
Bye.